Hi everybody, this is Cindy over at paper.old.new. How are you doing? I was just trying to process starting this altered book. Actually, I thought I would, in between Thrifty Thursday videos, do a little video that kind of showed you what I was working on as I'm starting this whole junk journaling thing. Like I said, I watched Pam over at Paper Outpost do some book cover, taking apart some books to have the book covers for journal covers. I also watched Barbara at 49 Dragonflies, sorry, do a altered book. And I watched some people do some coffee dyeing. So a couple of things I was just going to share with you. I have tried my hand at coffee dyeing. This is some pages that I tore out of this book, which I'm going to show you in a minute, that I just thought it would be kind of fun to coffee dye. Nothing special about these pages. This is not an old book. It was a newer book, so I just thought it might be fun to kind of... Now, I was coffee dyeing, and I saw a couple of methods, letting air dry, which I don't really have enough space to just let pages sit around for long periods and air dry. So you can see these edges here. I don't know if you can see that. Those edges there that are dark. These were baked in my oven, guys. So some of them are a little burnt around the edges because I was off doing other things, and maybe they sat in there a little longer than they should have. But yeah, so the pages, and some of them, I don't know if you can tell, that one's got, I don't know if you can see that in the, it's got red on it from something it was laying with, because I baked in layers. So that was book pages. I tried some, isn't that the sound we like? I love that sound. I tried some, this is one of those column ledger pads. And you can see all the different patterns of the coffee that the coffee makes as it dries on the paper. I just thought it was really cool. I don't know if you can see that. This one actually has some of that red in it too. This one's got bubbles. And this one's got lines. I was drying some of them in the oven on a pan that was like a screen. So it's got these lines in it. You see the lines. And some of them got really dark on one side and then not so dark on the other. Even some of these patterns, like this pattern got, it was light on this side kinda, and then the other side it was darker. So I want to try tea dyeing. I haven't done any tea dyeing. All my stuff is dyed with coffee. I also want to watch some of the videos. I think it's really cool that avocados dye paper pink. So I want to try that. I took an envelope apart and dyed it. I thought this would be fun to scan into my computer as a template. Make my own envelopes. This is just more, these were blank book pages. I don't know why there were so many blanks, but there were blanks in the book. Like between chapters, oh no, that, just the one side was blank. But like between chapters and at the end of the book, there was like all these blanks. So I dyed them. Can you see the pattern on that one? And wherever the pages overlapped is where you get some of this, like that's, this straight line here is from where like a page was sitting on there on a corner. So there's all kind of patterns and stuff on here. I like the way they turned out. You know, for putting on the backs of things for journaling space and, you know, whatever like that. This was a stack, let's see the stack, of copy paper, and just like, I'm hoping that shows up in the camera. I'm not seeing it, so I hope when the video processes, there's actually red on that one too, and I'll show you what that's from in a minute. But yeah, this was just copy paper that I So I got those done. Some of this is from some printouts that I had, and I printed them out and then I dyed them to make them look old, because at the time, only thing I had to print on, still right now I think the only thing I have to print on really is copy paper, but if I want it to look like it came out of an old book about animals, so I coffee dyed it. And then I figured I could cut them out and use them in some sort of journal. That one tore. It's got a big old tear down the middle of it. And then some of these, like these are printed on. These are from study guides for school. So they've got print on them. And I figured I could use them just like book pages or just use the other side. I mean, I was going to throw the pages in the trash anyway, or the recycling, and I figured I'd coffee dye them. And, you know, you can never have too much coffee dyed paper. Look at this one. I don't even know why that one came out like that. It's got all kind of, I guess it was on that screen. So that one's really dark. Some of them look like they've been sitting in like if you went and found an old box in the back of somebody's garage outside that had been sitting for a really long time. All the dirt and mold and dinge and everything that gets on paper and turns it. Some of them were sitting like this. See that line? So they were sitting like that in the oven. That's like really kind of brittle, like old paper gets. But I also am going to try next time. This was an instant coffee crystals that I dissolved in hot water. I actually want to get some coffee and brew it and see if it does different, or if any of you know if that would make a difference, because I feel like some I don't know if it's the color or alright guys, the other thing I did was, this is old wrapping paper. I did two kinds. This one's heavy, like a heavier, and then this one's really thin. This is where the red comes from though, guys. So I got this wet, and then when I laid it on top of other things to dry, some of the red seeped off onto the other pages. So some of the pages have just like some sort of crinkly pink pattern on them from this wrapping paper. But I coffee dyed the wrapping paper, and you can see the emblem. That's the emblem from the pan that I baked it on. This was a printout from when my daughter was studying medieval castles. I coffee dyed it. I like the way the lines came out on the back. That will make good journaling paper. You see the lines from the... So I don't actually know that I'll use the castle side, but... So, and these look like they were in a fire versus... But I love the way some of this wrapping paper came out, because it's really crinkly, and the patterns on it, like, because some of it I scrunched up because it's so, and then I dyed it, so it's very, the patterns, the coffee followed some of the wrinkles. Look, even the red side dyed on that one. Not all of them did that. So like there's a little bit on that one, but not a lot. Sorry about the glare. Try and tilt it away from the... But the wrapping paper turned out really cool. I've used some of it. Oh, here's one I laid a paper doily on. I did dye some little paper doilies. I don't know if you can see. Can you see? It's real faint right here. I've heard that if you can find vinyl or plastic doilies, that works much better. So I might have to be on the hunt so I can put some patterns on my dyed papers. But yeah, like I said, I watched a few videos on this and said I'm going to try my hand at it. My dining room table was a paper coffee dyeing center for almost a week. So, just more, I mean, it all comes out different. It's like every piece. Look at that one. Every piece is different. There's some more of that. I almost like the lines from whatever pan I dried these on, because it makes like almost like a natural line for journaling. This one I folded. I'm not really sure why I did that, but that one got folded and then dyed, and the lines from the folds dyed. So anyway, so this was all wrapping paper. Here's another one that got some lines on it. And I love how crinkly this stuff is, guys. My kids laugh at me because I walk in the room and I just push my hands down on the piles of coffee dyed paper and it makes a crinkly noise. I love that noise. So that one died on both sides. So yeah, lots of wrapping paper to work with for. And then because I have so much of it, get out of the way. Because I have so much of it, I decided to see what it would look like to coffee dye scrapbook paper. So some of my scrapbook paper got dyed. So this did, you probably can't tell. This had purple dots all over it. You can see the dots. I don't know if you can tell they're purple. But yeah, so. Oh, and these polka dots were not original to the paper. That's from the coffee. I dried this one on a pizza pan that had holes in it, you know, to make your crust crispier. And then this one got dyed on the pizza pan, but I think something else was sitting there also. So only some of the holes. This was on the pizza pan. I really liked the pattern from the pizza pan, so I did quite a few of those. There's this one. Some of them I kind of scrunched. I got the paper wet and then I scrunched it up. And then I just let it kind of sit like that and drain before I baked it. Or I scrunched it up on the pan and baked it like that, and then sat it under something heavy to flatten it back out again. But it made these kind of, you can probably see it better on that side. It made these. This one did not go in my oven. This was one where I just splattered with my finger to get them wet, sprinkle all over. And I just splattered coffee all over it and just let it sit until it dried, because this didn't get soaked. See how the back's not? This didn't get soaked, so it didn't take as long to dry. But yeah, it was fun doing the scrapbook paper. I thought it would, you know, granted I can't scan it and use it for anything before I use it for junk journaling. This was a heavier piece. I wanted to see how cardstock would do. It does pretty good. This already had like faint newsprint on it and stuff, so. And then I did some lined, this was lined scrapbook paper. This is more of the polka dots. That one's yellow. This one was orange. I'm not sure any of the colors are real. Here's some more of that cardstock with the newsprint. It just had a more blue-purple background then. And this was on the pizza pan again. So, yeah, and there was this sunflower one. This really colorful one. This was on can you see the diamond? I don't know if you can see the diamond pattern on that. It's kind of hard to, there's a diamond, I have a diamond screen that goes in my air fryer oven, and it made this diamond looking pattern. That's basically just a pink piece of paper that I coffee dyed. So now it looks pink and old. And this one was burgundy, so now it looks burgundy and old. Although this one did go on the pizza pan. Oh, this one I tried. I got it wet, and then I turned a cup upside down on there and let it sit out overnight. And it wasn't completely dry, so it then went in the oven. And the circular pattern from the cup stayed. I think I tried a couple. This is another one where I just smeared coffee all over it and kind of let it air dry. Oh, or maybe I baked it. I might have baked it, because this has other paper. That's what that... Usually I didn't overlap for the air drying, because I didn't air dry a lot. This has got a cool grid on the back of it. It's probably for cutting guide, because it's actually scrapbook paper. But there's kind of a faint grid on the back of this that is kind of cool. Here's another one I put cups upside down on. It was supposed to look like burlap with script on it. And you can see the cup rings. That's where some other paper was laying under it when it baked. This one on the pizza pan. That one on the pizza pan. That was blue. This was blue dots. I thought this pattern was neat. I don't remember how I got it. I'm not sure about that one. But it's kind of neat. This one again just had some overlap, paper overlap. This one was tan dots. Yeah, I had a whole collection of this paper. It was like a bunch of different patterns, in all the same patterns in a bunch of different colors. Here's one that I let air dry. This one I actually dipped the cups in the coffee and made circles. I had to find a piece of paper that didn't absorb right away. So this wasn't as absorbent as some of the other papers, because I tried to do that coffee ring stamp with the coffee and a cup on some other papers, and it just soaked right in and bled through the paper. So when you do it naturally, not with a stencil or a stamp, you have to do it on a piece of paper that won't just absorb your liquid and spread it out right away. Lesson learned on that one. This one got crinkled. This one also got crinkled. This one, I think I did that with a used dryer sheet. I dipped it in the coffee and then splotched it like sponge painting, but dryer sheet painting with coffee. Yeah, and then I let that one air dry. So I had a few that I did let air dry. Here's the coffee rings again. This was cardstock. Notice how this one bled a little more. So not as bad as some of the ones that I had to scrap, but and by scrap I mean just soak all the way in coffee and let dry. But these bled a little more and are a little fainter because the paper soaked them up more than the other paper did. But I like the coffee rings. Here's one. I don't know if you can see it. Oops, they stuck together. Something under there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a faint ring right there. This was one of the papers that I tried it on that it bled really bad. So that was really all you got. So I stuck it on the pizza pan and got the dots instead. And then this one and that one. So that was my foray into, oh, sorry about the noise. That was my foray into coffee dyeing of paper. Now, after watching Barbara do the altered book, I thought I'd try my hand. So this is a first attempt. I don't know how good it is. I was using kind of a wet craft glue that I had, rather than a really good glue. So some of the pages got a little, I mean, they're very, I was also using this paper pad. So I have this scrapbook paper pad. It's all like weathered wood that looks like it had old wallpaper or peeling paint, and then a bunch of the zigzaggy stuff. Here's the, Bramble Rose by My Mind's Eye. The thing I liked about it, and one of the reasons I picked this pad to use for this as I was going through this altered book process, was because it's not cardstock. Lesson learned. I know you guys use cardstock because it glues better and it doesn't soak up and get all wrinkly like just regular paper will. Although some of these pages did pretty good. But I was worried about it being too thick if I used cardstock. So I don't know. Like I said, this was my first go at an altered book. I was starting my second one getting ready to start my second one. So I made a few tags. This background on this tag is actually a tag punch I used on Tim Holtz packaging. This is from Tim Holtz packaging. From something. A little card with a maze. I made a pocket out of it. This postcard came from scrapbook paper. Had some washi tape. I tried a painting technique on the back here. This is a digital print. So that is just a page. This one I made a pocket. And this book isn't finished either, guys. I'm still working on, that's a large journaling tag. I'm still working on stuff to fill all the pockets with. This is just a collage. These pieces of tape are here because the spine started coming apart. You can see, can you see that there where it's separated? I put some glue down in there and tried to shove it back together, and then put a bunch of stuff on top of it so that it would stay, and then I put this tape in there. This one's actually, I pulled it too tight, so it's but anyway, so that's some of that coffee dyed wrapping paper I just showed you. This is a little file folder punch out from a scrapbook kit that I had, and then I just made a tag to stick in it, or a bookmark, or whatever you want to use it for. Alright, so that was just a regular, those were just regular flat pages. And then this page is one of those triple pockets. And I'm going through now, I think I've got most of the book covered in paper. I'm going through now and trying to fill all the pockets. And one of the things I have is this, I found this paper stack. It's a matte stack. It's butterflies themed. So there's lots of really cool papers in here. I've used a few of them for, they make really cool postcards. Like I made a postcard out of one. This is one of them. It says, "Those who wish to sing always find a song." This is a corner punch that I have that decorates corners. I think it does a couple different patterns on it, and then I turned it into a postcard. This one is just a card I made. I tried this background is, I did some of those masterboard collages on some old junk boxes, and then I cut them up and then covered the other side. So you could write on this or whatever. I don't know why I'm aiming that at my computer screen instead of my camera. And then this one is, again, this is more of the coffee dyed paper that I made, and then scrapbook paper elements. This is actually some paper from a yard sale that you'll see in a future haul video, but so I used a little bit before I hauled it. It's the hard part when you buy stuff and you're trying to save it for a video before you use it. This one is just a flat page. I have a whole pad of tags. Actually, two tag pads. K & Company used to make stuff like that to go with their scrapbook paper. I don't know if they still do. This is a giant tag. Some ephemera. I think this is all Tim Holtz ephemera. And a little doily back there. I made a little tuck spot. So I thought the lady in this scrapbook paper that I had was pretty, kind of tied into this lady on the front. She actually came off of this scrapbook paper that I used to cover the tag with. And then this is Everything is Possible, and a little Always and Forever. So you could, oh, and there's scrapbook paper on the back. So you could just put those in there. So like I said, guys, this is a practice. I practiced a waterfall. I haven't really done much with it. I've tried to decorate the backs and some of the fronts, just to make spots where you could write, I guess. I watch videos and I see techniques and I say, oh, I want to try that. So I pick a page in here and I try it. This is kind of my experimental book. Here's a corner tuck spot. I made a tag. Again, I used more of the wrapping paper. It's getting a little flexible right there for some reason. I just dingied up some ribbon. And I made this. I have a whole pad of alphabet paper. So it's like a big piece of paper, and then it's got one fancy alphabet letter in it. And then I made, this is a faux stamp I made. Bird feet. So I made a postcard for this page. And then I have another pocket here that needs filling. This page is just kind of blank. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I added a butterfly to it. And a caterpillar down here. Move that up a little bit. And here's a pocket I made a card. Again, Tim Holtz. This actually had a window in it, so I stuck some paper behind it. And this is the paper, the back of the paper. It was coffee dyed, and so I just stamped it. I used the lace that I used on the front. When I trimmed it, there was a little piece left, so I stuck it on there. So just made a little card for there. This actually came from, you guys ever get those mailers that have the 3 flaps that open? I tried to make a portfolio, kind of a fold thing out of it. What I did not do was reinforce the folds first. So I attempted to with washi tape, but that didn't really work. So it ended up coming apart, which is why I have this very large card, which will have to go in a larger journal because it doesn't fit in this one. And this, which has a flap on the back for writing, and a pocket on the front for with a little card in it. You see that? Yeah. So tucked that in there. This page is not finished. There's another tuck spot here, or another pocket here. This also opens, and it has a pocket in the top. Although I need practice with pockets, because some of my pockets are really tight, so it's hard to get stuff in there. Or maybe it's just my finger doesn't fit. There's one little tag in here. I actually had a piece of cardboard and I wrapped a scrap of book page around it. And then I put, this is for writing on if you want, just some scrapbook pad punch out things. And this is a piece of a scrapbook paper kind of piece together. This, it's a pocket, so this is just. Then I was watching another video, and I don't remember where I saw it, but she was doing a flip through of an altered book, and she had cut some of her pages. So I tried it. I don't know that I'll do it again, but this had already been made into a side pocket, as you can see. And I said, you know what, I could cut this one. So I cut it, and that's why this, I have a hexagon punch that I've been using for my tabs because I don't have a circle punch that big. And so these are side pockets, both of them, that don't have anything in them yet. And then this one is, these are both top pockets. So this is a top pocket, and then this is a top pocket, but I cut it after it was already mounted in here. And my stamp, I can't get my stamp in here. So this doesn't have a tab. Maybe if I get a circle stamp, it'll have a different profile. I can stick it in there. So I split that one. The cut in half page isn't so bad. I have one further in the back that I'll show you. I cut it into thirds, and the bottom one is all out of alignment. But anyway, so I stuck 2 pockets. This was kind of a plain page, and I stuck 2 pockets on it. There's a little card. It actually goes like that, because when you turn it over, it's got a lift, and then a little heart. It says Young at Heart. And I guess if you wanted to write on that, you could. So there's that. And then I made this tag. This is fuzzies from those dyed dryer sheets. I just tore them and they got all fuzzy like that. They were dryer sheets that have already been through the dryer, so all of this fabric softener has been melted out of them, and it's just the, and I said, I wonder what would happen if I stuck these in coffee. So I did. This is one of those triple or double pocket slanted pockets. This is a little pocket here and then a little pocket here. Neither one of these have anything in them yet. Like I said, this journal isn't finished, so it's still my experiment journal. And kind of a use up paper scraps journal, or a use up, it's a tuck spot, and one of those double pocket things. This was, I don't know if you can see can you see the stitching on there? It's funny. I am learning to sew. I think I mentioned that before. I have not learned how to sew yet. So I'm learning to sew. This was a little one of those little handheld sewing machines. I don't think they work very well for paper. But I did sew this little booklet. Now there's washi tape in here to keep it from tearing. But I made a little journal booklet and stuck it down to this page. But that's what that stitching is. So I'm going to learn how to use my sewing machine, and then I'll be able to do real stitches. But this is a big pocket, so another one of those ones that can hold one of these big tags, which I haven't made yet. This is an odd pocket, so I did one of those things where you fold one page up from the bottom and one page down from the top to make the pocket, and then I had a note here, and then I Mod Podged over it, so I can't erase it now. So it says side pocket. I suppose I could put a piece of paper there so you can't see it anymore, but I thought it was funny, so I left it. There's a little odd shaped pocket here. This doesn't actually have anything on it. I think I was putting scraps on this page, which is why looks like there's a pocket there, but there's not actually a pocket there. There is, however, a full page pocket up here. This is a pocket here and another one of these long side pockets that goes all the way across the page. There's nothing down here, so it's waiting to be decorated. This is the triple page pocket I was telling you about. The top one is a top pocket, so it's small this way. These two are both the long, narrow side pocket. So this, I mean, you could stick a bookmark in there, I guess, if you made a bookmark and stuck it in there or something like that, that the person can take out and use then to mark their place in their journal. This one, when you flip it, it flips up. Can you see that, how it flips crooked? So instead of staying where it's supposed to on the page, when you turn it, it wants to push and overlap the one above it. So I don't know why it does that, but it does. I have not made anything to go in those yet, but like I said, it's probably going to be some small bookmarks. That's just a side pocket, kind of, and I stamped a key there. It's very faint. I don't know if you can. And then this is another triple. Here's a, I don't know. It's already written on the back. Maybe I should put some coffee dyed paper back there. Or this could be used as a bookmark or whatever you want to use it for. This tall tuck here and just a tuck corner here. Like I said, experimenting with everything. Experimenting with the altered book. The one thing I will say is I wasn't paying attention as closely as I should have when she said go from the back to the front instead of going from the front to the back. So when I was putting papers on this, I went from back to front, and now it lays funny. And when I was rewatching the video for, you know, tips and things like that, she actually tells you if you do it from front to back, it'll lay funny. This was another card I made. This is another pattern from that corner punch. We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of the dreams. This, what's his name? From Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's not who, originally it was Arthur O'Shaughnessy, but that line is used in the old Gene Wilder version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This was another page I experimented with a split. I actually took some extra, so there's actually a gap there where I took extra page out so that these would sit okay. And this one is a flip down with, and I have to do that better the next time I do it, but these, or refold it or glue it together and fold it or something, but it's the intent is for you to write there, and then there's a pocket, and then this is a pocket and a tuck spot. So that's what those are. This is a pocket. That's actually made out of sturdier, it's not paper, it's cardboard from junk cardboard from a box or something. And here's a tag in this one. This one needs a tassel because I punched a hole and haven't put a tassel in it. So there's that one. And this is these two side. It's just plain, and this is a top pocket. Here is the other piece of this that flipped open. Like I said, advertisement. If I get any more of these trifold things, I will know. that before I cover it with paper, I need to reinforce that. I actually think I was going to reinforce it after I thought about it, after I had done it. I was like, that would be good to reinforce with like packing tape or maybe bookbinding tape, something like that, so that it would be sturdy for folding. You might even be able to reinforce it with fabric and then cover it up, or not. This was the piece, the door that came off of there. It had a pocket on it, so I tucked a tag in it. So this, again, was cut from one of those collage boards I was making. And the back's kind of plain, so it can be written on. I'll tuck in that pocket. And then this is another piece of the butterfly paper tucked in this little folder. I made this folder, so that's a tab. These tabs were also part of a scrapbooking kit. And this is handmade, some sort of handmade paper. And you can see the washi tape. The washi tape was actually put on there because I was trying to get the edges to stay together. The washi tape wasn't strong enough. So they ended up coming apart, and now they're cards. So this one goes in here. And this is blank, ready to be decorated, or just add some journaling paper. This one's a pocket. This is completely blank, as you can see. I would leave it as a writing space, except for the fact that you can see through, well, you guys can see that on camera. You can see through it. So the acknowledgments from the author are on there. And then this is not glued down because the mistake I made on the front, because as you can see, this isn't covered yet. So the mistake I made on the front is I've decorated this, and if I put fabric or something over this and want to fold it over and glue it, I can't. I either have to cover this up, or I have to figure out another way to cover this front, or the edges when I fold over, or whatever. So that mistake, and then when I was gluing paper down, I said, you know what, I'm going to leave this free, so when I fold fabric over this, I can then glue this down on top. Although it's now crooked, so I'm going to have to trim it. But yeah, and then I have this space over here. So this is unfinished, but this is what I've been doing as I've been starting this process. I shop, and I started watching some videos and learning some techniques and practicing with them or playing with the different techniques. And yeah, so that's what I've started with. And I'll see where I go from there. I'm learning things, and I just wanted to share a little bit with you, and I hope you'll be back next time. I will have some more haul videos, and I will hopefully do some crafting videos down the road. I don't know when those will come, but thanks for stopping by and spending some time here, and I will see you in the next video.